Hello, 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 everyone. Happy Wednesday. I'm Claire Jones. If we haven't already met, I'm an author and small publisher committed to changing the world for the better through inclusive stories and practices. And we are jumping on today for my Authorvision Facebook Live series, where I interview the amazing and inspiring authors in my network to discuss the visions that have shaped our lives and careers. So if you're joining us, please comment, like, share below. Let us know that you're here. And today I'm talking to Linda. Yay! So glad to have you.
No, it's great to be here. I always love talking to you. I just love your energy.
Well, likewise. I mean, that's what I love about this series is that I just get to like nerd out with all of my fellow authors.
That's fun.
Well, let's dive into it. Tell your backstory. How did you get to where you are today?
Oh my gosh. Well, I'll try and keep it brief because I've been doing what I do for like 26 years. So
you could write a book on it, right?
Yeah, several books on it. No, so it all started actually because of my dog years ago. He was sick. He had a heart condition, and you know, the traditional medicine, there was nothing else they could do for him. And I happened to see a documentary on homeopathy, and there was a homeopathic vet on there. Anyway, that led me down a path of pursuing that for him, which really helped him, and that just intrigued me, and I wanted to learn more. Not just about homeopathy, but just natural health generally. And so I then began to study. I studied holistic nutrition for my own interest. I didn't plan to do anything with it really. But my personality type is that when I learn something and it's really helpful and it's helped me, I have to share it. I can't just keep it to myself. And so I just came to a point where I realized this is what I wanted to do. I wanted to be able to help people with, you know, with their health and sort of energy of the body, really. And then when I decided, even though I had no business background, had no clue what I was doing in terms of starting a business, I decided I was going to start a business coaching people. And then I started hearing about feng shui, which is about energy of the environment. And so I went and studied that to become a practitioner. And so I started my business doing health consultations and feng shui consultations. And I saw it as sort of energy of the body, energy of the environment, really, really all about energy. And so over the years, that has kind of transformed from going to people's homes or them coming to me and doing individual consultations to focusing more on the energy aspect. And while I still do definitely incorporate feng shui into what I do, and we cover health a lot, it's more about the energy because everything is energy. And my consultations always went so much deeper than, oh, you know, I've got this stomach ache, or I've got this problem, or I've got, you know, whatever the problem was. People would always say to me, oh, you know, this is more like therapy. But it was because we were going deeper. And you know, I am that kind of person I don't do surface stuff. I like to go much deeper and really address the root cause of problems. And with energy, it's so great to do that because everything is energy. And you know, I learned that just by changing our energy, it doesn't matter what the situation is, how uncomfortable it is, how difficult it is, anything that feels like a struggle, you work with your energy and you can change the situation. You know, because we spend our time trying to force ourselves to change situations and nothing changes or it just gets worse. Sure. You focus on yourself. And so that's kind of it in a nutshell. But yeah, I just love talking about and working with energy because it can transform anything and everything.
Yeah. I mean, you really have to look at things holistically, right?
Yes.
Like while you were talking, I was thinking about the word, I think it's synecdoche, I think is the term for like part of a whole in writing. And it means like you can't really say that one part of something is indicative of the whole of something.
Right. Yes.
And I think that's definitely true. And what you're saying as well is like, you can't just isolate like, oh, this thing is happening in this certain part of my body and it's unrelated to everything else. You know, it's all connected at the same time. Like the environments you spoke of, the bodily existence that you spoke of, even like mental, emotional, spiritual, like it's all connected at the end of the day.
Absolutely. It really is. It's all connected. And that's the beauty of looking at things from the perspective of energy is you encompass all of that. You really get to the heart of it very quickly.
I mean, there's such this trend in Western medicine too of just like treating the symptoms, not the underlying cause, right?
Yeah.
And I've definitely gone through that in my own life. Like I struggled with acne for most of my life, and I like started getting it around age 10 and just like fought it until I think it was age 25-ish. I finally got a blood allergy test from a homeopathic doctor because she was the first one who ever suggested it to me as a solution to my acne, and turns out I'm allergic to a bunch of shit. And like once I cut that out of my diet, I was like, oh, my skin is so much happier.
Well, that's right. It's because, you know, you've got something on your skin, you keep putting stuff on it, trying to get rid of it. I want to get rid of it. I want to get rid of it. And that's not working. You know, there's something else. Just getting rid of it. Okay, even if you did get rid of it, it's going to manifest some other way because there's something. Your body is responding to something, as you discovered, and so that has to. It's your body's way of telling you something's wrong, and we need to go deeper and explore what that is. Yeah, that's wonderful. You did that.
Yeah, I mean, it was revolutionary for me.
Yes.
Like, I mean, I lost some of my favorite foods, to be fair, but at the same time, like, I am just so much healthier, both internally and externally, knowing that those are like the underlying roots of what's going on in my life. And so then that begs the question of like, you know, then I can make a decision based on that information, whether I want to do something about it.
Well, absolutely. And it's always your choice. I mean, you can choose, well, no, I don't want to give up that food. I'm going to continue eating it. And you just know that the consequence of that is that you're still going to have this condition. It's always your choice. You know, we think we don't have choices, but you might say, well, I don't like that choice. Well, okay, you still have the choice, you know, it's completely up to you. And it's like, you know, you're so often in life, you have to, in order to get something, you have to give up something. You have to be willing to it's just like give and take, energy exchange is how I see it. Yeah,
absolutely. I think we are having this weird moment in history too, where things have reached the point of convenience is kind of like the primary social value that we have nowadays, right?
Yeah.
And I think
get fit in 4 minutes a day and, you know, meditate in 30 seconds a day.
Exactly. And I think it creates this false expectation of only taking, not giving in return. Like, what are you giving up for that convenience? You know what I mean? It's not all, you can't have 100% good. Like, there's always going to be other consequences involved, other, you know, results of whatever it is.
Right. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, what about visions? What shaped you along the way? What was like that North Star that kept you going?
Well, what really kept me going, I think, was I came to a point where, okay, so here I was, this energy person working with energy and helping other people with energy. And I was doing it very often at the detriment to myself. So I learned that what I was doing with my energy wasn't necessarily in my best interest. I would put everybody else before myself. And so one of the things I learned in terms of energy is that energy is, well, it's my highest priority. We've just got the sun coming out now, so I'm going on different kinds of light differences. Anyway, so I learned that energy was the most important thing to me, because if I don't have energy, I can't do anything. Right. And so I became burned out from really sort of helping others at the expense of myself and doing things that didn't necessarily feel right to me, but that other people told me I should do. Oh, you want to succeed in business, you have to do this, you have to do that, you know. And so I always thought, well, I don't know anything about business, everybody else knows more than I do. So I just went along with what they said. And then I learned, I think the biggest thing I learned was that I have to trust myself. Trust myself, pay attention to how I feel, pay attention to what is most important to me and what feels good to me. Because if it doesn't feel good to me, if it doesn't bring me joy in what I'm doing, then I'm not showing up as my best self for everybody else.
Absolutely.
And as someone, I think people who want to serve other people often have this dilemma, is that we do it at the expense of ourselves. It's all about everybody else. And what we don't realize is that if we don't fill ourselves up first, and we don't take care of our own energy, then we cannot really support other people in the best way possible.
I mean, it's the give and take, right? That we were just talking about.
It is,
like,
absolutely.
We can't just give of ourselves 24/7. We have to take some too.
You want me to pull my blind down?
I'm really digging it, because we're
okay.
energy anyway, and like you're literally illuminated. So I'm good with it.
Well, it's so funny because it was so dark and cloudy and pouring with rain, and now all of a sudden the sun's come out. So
I mean, the sun is literally illuminating what you're saying right now. So I'm down with it.
That's funny.
But yeah, you can't just take, like you can't, it's just not one or the other. Like you can't pour from an empty cup is a phrase that I use.
Yes, you really can't. And a lot of us learn that the hard way, but it's about understanding yourself. And we always talk about this, knowing who you are and all of this, but it really does come to knowing who you are at the deepest levels. What kinds of things affect you? Not only what kinds of things do you love and you want to do, but how does things affect you? How do certain people affect you? Your body is just this amazing, it's an amazing tool. It's telling you all the time whether something's right or it isn't right. So you can get up in the morning and be feeling really great and having a wonderful day, and then all of a sudden you notice, well, I don't feel so good anymore. Well, what just happened? Something happened. Something was triggered within you. And so that's telling you something's wrong. And then if you are willing to look at that, that tells you so much about yourself. So it really is, I think self-awareness is the key to everything. And as someone who was so focused on everybody else and not so focused on myself, that has been a really big lesson for me. Because the more I know about myself, the more I can take care of myself and the more I can give then to other people. And that's not often how we see things, but that's been a really guiding light for me.
Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking of like your book title too, Valuing, because like you have to value that inner awareness. And you mentioned at the beginning of this section too about how you trusted other people's expertise over your own. And I think that that's super relevant in today's, especially in the coaching industry and the consulting industry, and people who invest in that kind of support for their businesses, is we often get stuck in this cycle of like, well, this is what I was told I should be doing, and I'm just going to trust that over trusting my intuition, trusting my self-knowledge and self-capabilities.
Well, absolutely. And so many of my clients that I work with don't value themselves. I mean, that's really, if you want other people to value you, I mean, that's essentially the core of the book, is if you are finding that other people are not valuing and appreciating you, whether that's in a professional environment or whether that's at home, it comes back to you. How are you valuing and appreciating yourself? And that was, the big lesson for me, is that once I started to do that, then other people did as well. And so if you're not feeling valued and appreciated and for all that you have to offer, you have to look within, because when you change yourself, then you change how people respond to you.
Yeah, I saw a post today that was like, have you ever been coached out? Like burnt out, but like coached out is like, you're just getting too coached at the end of the day. Well,
yeah, and I was guilty of this, I was constantly looking for, I thought other people had the answers for me. And so I was on this mission to find the answers for me. And, people would say, but the answers are within you. And I'll think, okay, great. Now, how do I get those out? Somebody has to be able to tell me, and nobody can tell you. So, I mean, that's not to say you don't need a coach. Yes, you absolutely do, but not to tell you what to do, but to help to find what is within you, to help to bring that out. Because yes, the answers are there, and we need help in accessing those answers. And that's where a coach is really helpful, because can you do it without? Yes, it's very hard and it takes a long time, and you go through many struggles. So having a coach is kind of that guiding light to really just point you in the right direction and help you interpret, I think. That's what I see I do, very much. It's about interpreting and understanding what's happening. And then what can I do to make a change?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny that you mentioned the phrase, like, the answers are within you, because I used to hate that phrase. Because I was taking it too literally.
Yes.
Like, the answers to how to use QuickBooks is not inside me. Like, that's not a piece of knowledge that I have inside. Like, I don't need to meditate in order to figure out how to use QuickBooks. And I was taking it way too literally. But I think the point is that you have to find the alignment within yourselves to choose the option or the information or the strategies or like the practical items that are going to be best suited for you.
That's absolutely true. That's one of my favorite words, is alignment, because when you are out of alignment, meaning your energy is off, in terms of what you're doing. So often, it seems like the easiest thing in the world. One of the first things I start with is asking people, what's most important to you? What is it that you want? And it seems like, we should know that. And we think very often that we do know that. And it turns out it's often one of the most difficult questions for people to really understand, because they know what they think they want, or what other people tell them they want, or what they think they should want. But when you really start to dig a little bit, why do you want that? Why is that important to you? Then they start to find that they've been putting all this energy into things that were not in alignment with them. And so it is about finding, okay, what is in alignment with you? And that's what it is about, finding the answer within you. It's what is aligned, what does that look like for you? Because it's different for everyone. And whenever you see somebody saying, I have the blueprint to success, just do this, 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 and this, and you'll live a life of, joy and peace and all of this. It's different for everybody. You can't follow someone else's blueprint that worked for them, and it may work for a few other people. It certainly doesn't work for everybody.
Yeah. If you start to hear some squeaking in the background, my dog found a toy. So
I love it.
I think this alignment piece is really important, because it's not like, am I going to use QuickBooks versus Mint? It's not like, am I going to use QuickBooks versus a spreadsheet? It's like, QuickBooks isn't the answer. The answer is, what version of this financial tracking system is going to work best for you in the long term, and you can't find that awareness until you have self-awareness and self-alignment. And I think that's what a coach does. Like, without a coach, you just go like QuickBooks to spreadsheet to Mint, like back and forth, trying all the different tools. And eventually at the end, you might figure out what's best for you. But it's that time factor too.
It is. And I've been guilty of that with various online platforms and things. So this is the thing you need, this is the thing that's going to do everything that you want it to do. And so you go and you learn that, and you spend a lot of money on it, and you invest in it, time, energy, money, only to find further down the road, well, I hadn't really thought about what I wanted my end result to be, so really this isn't the best fit for me. And it takes us down all these kind of paths that we don't really want to go down. And that is why you need that self-awareness and that alignment. What is important to me? What am I wanting to accomplish? Where am I going with this? Right, because otherwise it's that shiny object syndrome, isn't it? It's like somebody saying, oh, this is what you need. Oh, that's what you need. Oh, this is the thing. But the more you know yourself and value yourself, the easier it is to look at all these things that are coming up and just go, no, those are not relevant for me.
Yes, exactly. I mean, we've already started talking about this a little bit, but what lessons were the big ones along the way here?
I think trusting myself was probably the biggest. Understanding that managing my energy was the most important thing, because it's so easy, if you're not in alignment, it's so easy to squander your energy on things that are not relevant to you. And, you know, just because you're good at something or you can do something doesn't mean it's the right thing for you. That's kind of a mantra for me now. Just because I can doesn't mean I should.
Right.
So that was a big one for me. But, you know, it's really about, I have to come back to self-awareness. It's about knowing yourself, knowing what's important to you, because when you do that, everything else sort of falls away. And then you only are willing to invest your energy into what is right for you. And that serves everybody.
Yes.
Right. So it really, I think those are the biggest ones for me.
Yeah. I mean, self-awareness, I think, is the underlying answer to most things.
It is. It really is. If you don't know yourself, and people think they do, and when you really start asking a couple of questions, and they find they really don't.
Yeah, right. Like I used to do a lot more leadership work years ago, and people are always like, what's the one skill set that a leader needs to, you know, perfect or grow or nurture? And I'm like, self-awareness. Like, it's not like being able to tell people what to do, but it's having that inner self-awareness to better lead.
Yes, it is. I mean, it helps you. The more awareness you have, self-awareness you have, the better you are at everything. Anything you put your time and energy into, you're going to be better at it, because you're coming from that place of knowing yourself and knowing what works and what's the best way for you to do it. You know, any quick examples. For years, I thought there was something wrong with me because I tried just about every time management system out there. You know, I would go through and I would think, I'm putting so much effort and time into writing all these things out, or, you know, creating all these lovely charts and things like that. And I just couldn't make any of them work for me. And then I realized, if I focus on managing my energy instead of managing my time, oh my gosh, I get so much more done. I don't need to think about managing my time. That just happens automatically, because I kind of go with the flow. I go with my natural energy flow, and you can only do that with self-awareness. So
exactly. Yeah. And it's also knowing how to, I don't know if I want to use the word manipulate, but guide the energetics too.
Yeah.
Like just knowing what raises your energy, what lowers your energy, what fills
you have
your
to
energy.
know that.
Because then if you do need to apply your energy to a certain thing in a certain time frame, then you know how to get yourself to that point where you can produce within that time.
Exactly. And there will always be things or people or situations that pull your energy down and leave you feeling kind of depleted. And when that happens, it's about understanding yourself enough to know, okay, this is how I'm feeling. What do I need to do for myself to raise that energy up again? You know, and sometimes that may be stopping and resting, but sometimes it may be, you know, just doing something, going for a 5-minute walk or something. Sometimes that's enough to really re-energize you and reset your energy.
Yeah, this is a perfect segue. And the last question is like, what tools or practices did you use to support yourself during this journey? Like, what helped you stay sane? And one of those tools for like the energy regulation for me is playlists, like music.
Yes.
And, like having a little mini dance session to like reset the energy and like move on with my day.
Well, there are some things like that that will transform your energy instantly. So if you're feeling frazzled and you need to calm yourself down, music's a great way to do that. On the other hand, if you're feeling kind of lethargic and you need to ramp your energy up, again, music's a great way to do that. So music's something that can shift your energy very quickly. Being in nature, just getting outside, just even for a few minutes. Or if you can't do that, if you're in a city apartment or something, bring nature indoors. You can have some plants. You can even have pictures of, you know, trees. I've got my sunflowers behind me. You know, that raises my energy, just me seeing that. I love aromatherapy oils, essential oils. Those are a great energy shifter as well. It could even be, you know, if you've been somewhere and you feel like you've taken on a lot of energy from other people or something like that. Just something like having a shower and just, you know, visualizing that going away, or having a bath or something. Or the music, again, you know, that can reset your energy. So there are tools we have around us, you know, just at our disposal all the time. Breathing is another one. You know, whenever you find yourself just about to lose it, just if you can just pause. Oh, that was probably one of the biggest tools I learned, is the art of the pause.
Yeah.
If you just learn to pause and then take a breath and another breath, it's amazing, because you cannot think clearly when you are in a state of anger, frustration, overwhelm, everything. You just can't think of any clear thoughts. So if you just pause, take a few breaths, it's amazing what clarity can come. So all of those things are just, easily available to us.
Yeah, exactly. Like some people have said, like, sense of humor, which I think is super important too. Like being able to like laugh while you're crying, I think is one of like the best tools that I have for myself as well, of like, I think it's this all or nothing thinking that we get stuck in. Like, I have to be 100% healthy or else I'm 0% healthy.
Oh, that's so true. And I am a recovering perfectionist, so
yes.
I mean, I completely get that. I mean, it was for me literally all or nothing. I was either going to work out like for an hour every day during the week, or I didn't do anything at all. The concept of, well, just 1 or 2 days might be all right. That would be better than nothing. No, it had to be all or nothing for me.
Yeah, there was one phrase that completely radically changed my viewpoint on that, is like, anything worth doing is worth half-assing. Do 5 days. Yeah, like it's just like not flowing for me, then I'll just go do something else. But at least I got the 5 minutes done.
Well, good. And another thing I learned, which was a revelation for me, because is that everything doesn't have to be hard. I was really good at doing things the hard way, and so now I've learned that if I'm doing something, let's say I'm learning something new, or doing something and I'm starting to struggle with it, I can just walk away from it, and then I ask myself, how can I make this easy? How can I make this easier for myself? And I promise, when I come back to it, it is easier. It just I don't know how that works, but it does work. And that was a revelation for me, because I would plow through something when it was difficult, and just think I've got to get through it, get to the end of it. And now I realize I don't have to do that. Wonderful.
Yeah, I mean, there's no point in plowing through something because it's not going to be your best work either.
No, it can't be.
Very likely going to have to redo some of that work later on because it wasn't your best work, which is just adding more stuff to your life.
It does, and that comes into energy management, right? So the moment you find that it's feeling difficult, then you manage your energy by stopping, doing something else, or resetting your energy so you're in a better place when you come back to it. And that's a great example of energy management, and it really works incredibly well.
Yeah. I love this. Anything you want to add before we wrap up?
Well, I just would say, the reason I wrote the book Value Me, obviously I wrote it for myself, because I had to learn how to value myself, but so many people are struggling with that and feeling unappreciated, not valued, for what they do. And so when that happens, they're putting themselves down, but it comes from within again. So you start to learn to value yourself, and you just watch what happens around you, because things will change, and it doesn't have to be difficult.
Yes, it does not have to be difficult. That's for sure. All right, well, this is powerful stuff that we're talking about here, and it always feels like mini therapy sessions, so I love these. Audience, we definitely encourage you to share your own thoughts and feelings and insights with us as well. We'd love to know how visions like these have impacted you in your own lives. And special thanks to Linda for joining me. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you so much, Claire. I just love talking with you. I could do this all day. So
yes, I mean, this is a podcast series that I could do like days of sometimes, and I'm like, right. Manage the energy, put the boundaries.
Yes, you have to manage the energy.
yeah, exactly. So please comment, like, subscribe below. Check out linktr.ee/clairjoyance for all of my links. And then where can people find out more about you?
lindabins.com is the easiest way. Just go to my website and you'll find anything you need to know there.
Great. And I'll make sure all the links are available for you all as well. So until next time, please remember that you all have extraordinary stories inside of you, and I'm rooting for you as you use them to change the world for the better. Take care, guys.
All right. Thank you. Bye.